Unspoken issues.
UltraForce number 9. On the shelf, July 13th of 1995. Title of the story, Let There Be Light. Plotted by Hank Canals. Penciled by John Royal and Chris Alexander. Inked by Jeff Whiting and Stephen Baskerville. Lettered by Patrick Owsley and colored by Robert Alvord. The story opens with the members of UltraForce facing an overwhelming cosmic presence. Each hero is struck by fear and reflection. Black Knight thinks of his homeworld and the woman he loves, knowing he may never see her again. Prototype can only watch helplessly as his friend Prime is trapped in a field of bioenergy. Topaz recalls her home planet of Gwendor and dreads never walking its gardens again. Siren, usually in control, feels powerless as she stares at the living force of destruction she secretly unleashed. Even Ghoul, the undead member of the team, contemplates realities beyond mortal understanding. In this frozen moment, none of them feel like heroes. They feel only the sting of failure. From the radiant void, a brilliant figure manifests, engulfing Prime in waves of searing light. The being, almost divine in beauty, captivates those who look upon her, overwhelming their senses. Black Knight urges the team to act before Prime is lost to her brilliance, while others recognize with horror that she may be transforming him into something beyond their reach. Topaz and Siren try to push through the energy to help. The spectacle is both mesmerizing and terrifying. The catastrophe quickly spreads to the city around them. In Miami's busy shopping plaza, thousands of bystanders scatter in panic. The light lashes out, consuming them, and more than 100 never escape. Victims struck by the energy transform violently, one after another, a terrible chain reaction. Each infected person becoming a new source of contamination. The transformation multiplies geometrically, spreading to an unstoppable pace, and the city descends into chaos as Siren and the others realize how dire the situation has become. Siren fires volley after volley of her energy arrows, but they do nothing to slow the radiant beings. She snaps back at her teammates' criticism while dodging the onslaught. Topaz, admiring Siren's resolve, insists the creatures must be destroyed, but Black Knight counters that heroes do not kill. Black Knight recalls information from Takahashi. These beings had escaped from a containment facility and stresses they need to be captured, not eliminated. Suspicion hangs in the air. If they could be controlled, why were they contained in the first place? Tension builds between the heroes as the situation worsens. Black Knight, ever the pragmatist, demands an alternative path while flames and light rain down around them. Ghoul cuts through the argument with his usual morbid humor, but the urgency is real. Unless they act quickly, the angels will spread too far to ever be stopped. Black Knight presses that their time is nearly gone, and though no one fully trusts the doctor's explanation, hesitation is not an option. The heroes argue fiercely over strategy, each weighing the cost of action against the potential for failure. Ghoul finally steps forward with grim resolve. He explains that the angels feed by consuming life energy and converting it into pure light. But unlike the others, he has no life force to offer. Being already dead, he is immune to their hunger. With his sardonic humor, he declares himself the perfect candidate to confront them. As glowing forms swirl in the distance and Prime's life hangs in the balance, Ghoul marches forward into the blazing radiance, determined to face the angels on their own ground. Ghoul steps boldly into the golden radiance, taunting the angelic being as it hovers above, while his teammates warn him back, fearing he'll be taken too. But he insists he is ready, eager even, for the confrontation. The angel suddenly drops Prime, shifting her focus toward Ghoul, who eggs her on with grim humor. As the glowing entity descends upon him, he welcomes her embrace, though the grotesque spectacle leaves the others horrified. Ghoul grapples with the angel's energy, surprised at the sensation. He expected nothing, but instead feels an unnatural chill coursing through him. As he questions what is happening, he realizes this may be the very feedback Takahashi spoke of. Their attempt to drain him is backfiring. Straining under the onslaught, he senses the angel weakening, pulling away, and even shrinking, as if the very contact with his undead body is diminishing her power. The team rushes to check on him, calling out an alarm, but Ghoul assures him he's fine, reminding them that being dead disqualifies him from harm. Meanwhile, Takahashi calmly reveals he has captured the Angel in a containment pod, explaining that once drained of bioenergy, they become harmless, more curiosities, like a fish in a tank. The revelation disgusts the heroes. These angels were nothing more than manufactured, experimental creatures, unleashed recklessly and endangering countless lives. Black Knight furiously vows to shut Takahashi down once the crisis has ended. But the battle isn't over yet, as more of the glowing beings remain loose in the city. As one of the angels collapses, the people that had transformed revert back into human form, only to plummet helplessly from the sky. Prototype and the others scramble desperately to catch as many as they can. Grappler beams stretch out, but there are too many, and the team is overwhelmed. The heroes know their mission is about more than their own pride, it's about protecting innocent lives. Contrary reassures Prototype that she has managed to pull several aboard her ship, believing they may have saved everyone who had been under the Angel's sway. But the relief is short-lived. Siren warns the others not to celebrate. There are more angels coming, and scanners confirm her fears. Reinforcements are pouring in, far more than the single one they had managed to contain. She maneuvers her Tri-Fighter to block their path, but doubts rise among the team. Siren is consumed with guilt, knowing she was the one who set the creatures loose in the first place. Her inner critic echoes her failure relentlessly. Still, she presses forward into the fray, firing her energy weapons with determination. Meanwhile, Topaz takes a fierce stand on the ground, shouting at terrified civilians to find their courage and flee with their loved ones. She cuts through the golden swarm with her staff, even though she laments her presence on a world that feels increasingly maddening to her. More angels descend on her position, forcing Ghoul to rise and rejoin the battle. He answers her call for help, but struggles grow dire. Topaz can barely hold them back, straining under the relentless assault as she pleads for her teammates to hurry. Ghoul throws himself into the golden blaze. He dares the angelic entity to dance, using his undead state to weaken it, even as the energy blasts knock him hard into the fray. He collides with Topaz, leaving them in a heap. She angrily tells him to get off, but Ghoul quips that for a second, he almost thought he was in love. Black Knight pushes forward with fierce determination, his thoughts consumed by finding Circe somewhere on this earth. Knowing Ghoul is the only one who can counter the angels, he forcefully drags them into the fight, despite Ghoul's sarcastic protests about his coat and complaints about fashion in hell. Their exchange continues with sharp wit, but Prototype cuts through the tension, urging them to focus. Ghoul, grimly resolute, replies that being dead is what he does best. Countless civilians fall through the sky, their lives hanging by a thread. The narration underscores the impossible odds, but one cannot save everyone, yet the heroes have no choice but to try. Prototype, Contrary, and the others push themselves to the limit, catching as many as they can. Prime joins in, his determination renewed as he catches plummeting figures, slime and energy coating his body from the ongoing struggle. Though the situation seems insurmountable, Prime embodies the spirit of the team. Even when it feels impossible, one person's effort can make a difference. And when the weight of lives hangs in the balance, you push yourself to try even harder. Black Knight rallies the team, urging them to hold the angels at bay until Ghoul can reach them. He's the only one who seems to weaken their power. As Siren and the others push in closer, Ghoul once again risks himself but loses his grip midair. Just as he's about to crash, Prime swoops in and catches him, steadying the undead hero. Ghoul brushes it off with his usual gallows humor, though Prime makes clear he's glad to have him safe. Their teamwork reinforces that even in chaos, each member's role is vital. In the aftermath of the battle, the angels are finally secured back in containment. Dr. Takahashi promises that new safeguards will ensure nothing like this happens again. The team reflects on their effort. Contrary admits they've saved almost everyone, while Prime realizes being a hero doesn't mean saving the whole world, just doing what you can to protect a part of it. The others commend Ghoul for his contribution, though he deflects with self-deprecating jokes, still uncomfortable with praise. Sometime later, the team regroups. Black Knight is impressed with how seamlessly UltraForce operates together, comparing them to the Avengers. Siren earns an apology for being second-guessed during the crisis, and Contrary offers Knight the chance to remain with them. The Black Knight declines, saying if Circe is in New York, that's where he needs to be. The camaraderie is evident, though, and Prime admits he'd love to work with the Knight again. Their respect for each other solidifies as they prepare for whatever challenges lie ahead. Their quiet moment is soon interrupted by reporters reminding them that fame has its own price. UltraForce steps into the public spotlight, facing a barrage of questions from eager reporters. Prototype tries to take the lead, introducing Black Knight as their new ally, but Siren gets quickly overwhelmed by intrusive questions and unwanted attention from the crowd. Prime takes control, speaking firmly on behalf of the team. He stresses that UltraForce is simply happy to help, that protecting people is their purpose, and united the team presents themselves as heroes to the world, even if the chaos behind the scenes told a different story. Meanwhile, in Chicago, Cersei watches the events unfold on television. The broadcast stirs memories of her time with Black Knight, recalling their closeness and the promise they once shared to face life together. Their bond is tinged with regret, separation, and longing. The flashback shows them affirming their love and vowing to take their first steps through a glowing green portal, hand in hand. But Cersei remembers finding herself alone once more, her body racked with pain and displacement, awakening disoriented in Africa, separated from Dane and weakened by Proctor's influence. The anguish inside her grows, her thoughts filled with regret and sorrow for involving Black Knight in her suffering. But through her despair, she hears a call, a mysterious summons urging her toward unification. Drawn by the compulsion, she begins traveling to Chicago, driven forward by a force she doesn't fully understand. Though the pain inside her deepens with every step, she cannot resist, even knowing it may only worsen. Cersei hovers over a river, using her powers to call forth a small orb from its depths, shattering it in midair. An oval-shaped glowing blue gem is inside. Though part of her wishes she were simply going insane, Cersei knows this is something far greater. As she is compelled to take the gem and place it above her brow, it almost becomes a part of her. Cersei, racked with confusion and pain, suddenly hears a voice that confirms her fears. She is not imagining things. The presence speaks through her, declaring that she will serve as its vessel, meant to reunite with others long separated for millennia. The cosmic force proclaims that the time has come as its brethren are finally near. Memories surge through her head, thousands of years' worth of experiences crashing in at once. Yet buried within that flood is another memory, one less defined but deeply personal. Dane Whitman, the Black Knight. His name lingers in her heart, a reminder of her humanity even as the alien presence tries to consume her. As light engulfs her, Cersei realizes the end is near. The overwhelming tide of history, power, and destiny is dragging her forward, toward something she cannot yet fully grasp. Stay on the lookout for more Black September-themed episodes, all September long in 2025, right here on the Unspoken Issues podcast.